saying we the greatest, but it ain't no debatables. Bet against us and lose, man, it's unexplainable. No comparison to who, cause ain't no comparables. The trophies that we take home, insurmountable. We used to be the underdogs under pressure, but now the whole squad is up. It's a blessing. Used to be they counted us out, the outliers, the ones they doubted, and now the ones that they admire. They said we couldn't, now we in it. Check the record, said we wouldn't. Guess they liars. We're outliers. I got hitters on the team, my dogs is wild. Now we here and we him and we now. You see it in the gym lights, late night same t-shirts, tape on the wrist, flow squaking while the pace turns. I told them we the ones, they was smirking through the breaks. Now they watch us in the bleachers when the scoreboard shakes. We ballin' like them 90s babies with the snapbacks low and the old head saying crazy. We do it for the kids in the back row, sneaking streams on a cracked phone, knowing that we that show. If you knew it, then you wouldn't try it. You hit a bench, get loud before the first step got violent. Man, if you knew it, then you wouldn't try it. It's the new underdog with the outliers.
What's going on, guys? This is Vic and Doc with the Outliers. I am Coach Vic. That is Coach Doc. How you doing today, Coach Doc?
I'm doing good. You?
I'm good. I'm good on this Thursday afternoon. On Friday Eve, if some call it. And we do have a guest, as we are bringing the tradition in of having guests on the show. And we have Coach Jordan with the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. Glad to have you here. So week 5 and 6 has, gone in the books. Do your poll vote. It's time to vote. Do your poll vote. Make sure you get those free points. Quite a few upsets in the G6. Um, we did have some teams in the G6 in the top 25. We can discuss those here in a second. What do you think about the showing that the G6 had in the top 25 this week?
I thought it was pretty strong.
Pretty strong. Yeah, we did. We did have some strong teams in there. We had Central Michigan, had UConn. I believe UNLV snuck in there as well. So, excuse me. So those teams, and some of those teams lost. Like Central Michigan lost, and we'll get to that in a second. But what teams do you see entering in the top 25?
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, so me, other than, you could see after UNLV's loss, I think North Dakota State creeps up there.
Okay.
Realistically, I think out of all of the ones that currently are sitting outside, I think, Liberty's already up there. I think North Dakota State season appearance. I think outside of that, San Diego State's not ranked right now, correct?
No.
That's correct.
So I could see potentially. I have a feeling that people will vote North Dakota State in, though. I'd be surprised if we saw another one snuck in. We saw some people the American cannibalized North Texas and ended up losing to Tulsa, which was huge. I don't know if you caught that game.
Yeah, Memphis lost to Charlotte as well.
Yeah.
Another undefeated team that was trying to get up there in the ranks.
That's for me.
yeah, it is, but it's just one loss. Like you said, it may cannibalize itself, like Jordan just said. So one loss may not do them in.
No. But it's still a conference loss, which really hurts. That really hurts Memphis. So I think, when you look at it, I think San Diego State, um, with all they've done, I think they're a good shot of getting in there. Does that one loss hurt Central Michigan?
Yes, that was my next question to you
Yeah,
guys was, do you feel like Central Michigan drops out the rankings after that loss?
I do.
Yeah.
I do as well. I do. That's a devastating loss to Akron of all teams. So it's tough to lose in the MAC period if you chip, but it's tough to lose against Akron. No offense to Vegeta, the new coach there at Akron. He played his ass off, but you can't lose that game if you're chip. Like losses like that, and this is just my opinion. Losses like that make me second guess what I did in the draft, knowing that I had the number one pick.
Does it though? I mean,
Yeah,
we had Chip
yeah,
on,
yeah.
and he felt pretty confident, and
I mean, that's cool. And then you lost to Akron, though.
but then I don't think. I mean, because like the reality is this: I beat Boise for God's sake. I beat North
But
Texas
you're
in the Cup.
Fresno.
Like things can
You're
happen in this game.
Fresno, though. But you're Fresno. You're not Akron. It's a difference.
But what I'm saying is, like, Fresno is still 3 points difference than what's the difference between Central Michigan and Akron? My point is like anything can happen in this game. Like, who beat Oklahoma? Colorado State, right?
Yep.
Should they
Yeah, yeah,
should they
yeah.
have ever beaten Colorado State? Like, so I look at it as like I think that he still like kind of stands by his team, and I still think it's cool as hell that he took
I
that
mean,
went back to Central Michigan and he did that, but I don't think it changes his mind. What I think it's going to do is fuel that fire because he does have little like he lost to Neil, right? And came back and
yeah.
rattled off some wins. And I think this is just like the bump in the road, but this is the bump in the road that he talked about that he couldn't see, especially. But does it change things because the loss was this early?
Yeah, because you could potentially have another loss. It's nothing but new coaches. And if he plays Miami of Ohio, who has stood out
Oh yeah,
in the early part of the season, like that's another potential loss right there.
yeah.
He
But
he
what
does
it's
play
a
them
could be a
later on this
potential win.
season. He does.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's a potential win as well, right? Like
But but you can't rule out a loss after the loss to Akron. I can't rule out no loss.
right. I
No
mean, I
team.
guess you could have said that about Ohio State whenever they lost to Oregon, and look what they did, right? I'm just saying, I think that sometimes it all depends on that fire. Does it fuel the fire, or does it does the flame fan out?
But like I said, that's like comparing Ohio State to Central Michigan is like comparing elephant shit to dog shit.
It's the
Like
point.
yeah,
It's the
it is,
it's the
but
point. And I'm not
it,
comparing the
it,
teams because I'd be an idiot to compare the teams. What I'm doing is comparing what happened. Like you
Yeah.
learn from it and
yeah.
you run the table. Like that's everybody kind of had Ohio State written off after they lost that game. And look what happened to them. They won a national championship. But like, and I'm not saying that
but
he's going to win a national championship either. What I am saying is that could fuel his fire
no, for it.
to have him run the table in the MAC and still have that one loss.
And he still has to run the table in the MAC, and he
Yeah,
still has to get over the
he's
hump
got to
of
do all that.
winning. He got to get over the hump of winning the MAC
Yeah,
conference as well, because the last few seasons of that he has not won. But it it's just like to me, I don't know. You may second guess for the moment and then lock back in, but it's just like, man, I took my school number one that I already had and I didn't have to go into the draft to do, but I just lost to Akron. What are your thoughts? Or do you think he bounces back or
I think he bounces back. It's Chip. He did it for a reason. He's a Chippewa through and through. So I think it's a wake up call. Now I think he can run. I think he's still a MAC contender. I think it hurts a playoff bid for him because there's so many other G6 schools to talk about. But I wouldn't count Chip out of the MAC at all. There's some good coaches. I'm interested to see kind of how Miami, Ohio plays out. But I wouldn't count Chip out. You do that, and next thing you know is running back stiff farming and running over people, and he's racked up 200 plus yards, and no one can stop him. So um, I've been in the MAC when I first came my first season in Ohio. That was brutal, and I remember the MAC's pretty. It's hard to tackle some of those teams, and Chip runs the ball pretty well. So
Yeah.
See,
I hope he
I
bounces.
like Jordan.
Oh,
Thanks for being on
I
tonight,
hope he
Jordan.
bounces back. I hope he bounces back, but it's just hard for me. Like, no, I hope he bounces back. I know he gonna bounce back. It's Chip. Chip, one of the pure best users in the league. But it's just like I don't know. It's just after I'm just saying after the loss, I would have had some second guessing and then be like, all right, let's log back in. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So does that mean the MAC is wide open now that Chip has a loss?
Yes, I think so.
yep.
Okay. All right. Well, with those upsets that we talked about, which upset was the most surprising to you? Was it the Memphis loss or the North Texas loss or the Central Michigan loss or the UTSA loss?
Oof. That UTSA loss was pretty big.
Oof. Yeah.
You know, and it was done by the world's largest sandbagger. So you know, it was I thought it was great. And, of course, when I was like, hey, man, great win, he was like, well, I didn't think I was going to win that. Like it's on, this is awesome. So, but typical, he gave all of it to luck and, he couldn't believe that he did that. But it doesn't surprise me when he beats good guys because
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that can beat anybody on any given day. And that's just, regardless of what team he has, he figures them out and he runs out there with them. And, he, no, anytime you play him, it's not an easy game. So, and then when he wins, it doesn't surprise me. But I would say that was the biggest loss for not only the team, but what's happening in that conference. Because that was, that's his chance to jump on Memphis, right? Like,
Yeah.
and kind of get that push forward that he would have needed to get up there. Now, again, but we talked about that in the first show, that they're just going to sit here and they're going to cannibalize themselves until somebody wins this conference with 3 losses. Like,
I'm seeing that now. I'm
yeah,
seeing the vision. You said it in the first show before the season started. You said somebody might win with 2 or 3 losses. I was
yeah,
like, I don't know. And now I can see the vision. I can
yeah.
definitely
And I
see the
just,
vision.
I see that happening. And then you look at it and then you're like, maybe you never thought like Lewis would be in the mix. Well, he's in the mix now, right? Because he beat
Yeah.
USTA, right? And so now you got to bring him up because he wasn't talked about. Like you talked about Florida Atlantic, you talked about UTSA, you talked about North Texas, you talked about Memphis, and nowhere was he in that conversation. Now you have to talk about him because he beat one of the best coaches in that conference. And so like now there's that, and that's just another person added to the mix. North Texas is playing really good. He's another one that you could probably that's probably going to be knocking on the door of the top 25.
Jordan, what do you think was the most surprising loss of this past block?
Mine, I'm gonna have to say when Tulsa came and beat North Texas. I firsthand saw the speed that North Texas had week one. Louisiana, as you've already highlighted, has cement blocks for feet. Um, so with that speed, I was surprised not by the coach, just by the speed of Tulsa, and he was all over the field. And I played, North Texas, so I was expecting okay, it's gonna be hard to contain. And Tulsa did an outstanding job. Ant Raines, took it to him. I was not expecting it. I think that kind of just like we talked about, that opens up the American. So people that thought they were one loss and kind of like, oh no, it just opened the doors for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, he's an underrated coach. I'm not gonna give him the whole wait till you get a good team. No. But he is an underrated coach that could get
Yeah.
somebody. Ant Raines can sneak
Yeah.
up on somebody and pull off an upset.
but I think what ends up happening is the American, like you guys mentioned, like your first show this season is like really talented coach wise and team wise, some fast teams there for G6.
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening is they might have a better team there, but I don't think the playoff bid comes from there just because of the talent. And I think what ends up happening is, like you mentioned, like we might see it, people competing 2 or 3 loss team wins the American, but some other undefeated gets the bid just simply because there's so many talented coaches there. Even though, on paper, the team might be better. I just think, unfortunately, the American tends to be kind of stacked. I remember when I was South Florida, it was stacked, and then American got stacked again. It's a scary place to play.
Yeah.
I can understand. I can understand that.
But
Go
can we
ahead.
go back to the Central Michigan
Okay, go ahead. We
Akron
can.
for just a second? Like, so Akron's a new guy, right? And
Yeah.
so don't know much about him. I played him. I think he was Cal in the farm, and I played him, and he beat me, which is cool. Because that's not a task. But I really enjoyed. I enjoyed his game, but I also look at like, okay, he beat Louisiana Monroe, he beat Chip, and he only lost to Charlotte by 12 points, and Devin got the best of him. But do we need to start worrying about some of these new guys that are in the MAC making a difference in the MAC?
Yeah.
I mean, because beating Chip, and then this Charlotte coach is pretty good. He's a new guy, and to only lose by 12 there, like, do we start worrying
Yeah,
about?
the new coaches in general, like in these G6 leagues that start to sprout up, like you have to worry about it because all of us kind of, sort of, more than likely started in the G6.
Yeah,
Like I think Jordan, you started in the G6.
Yep.
I did,
my
and
first team in season 1 was University of Louisiana Lafayette. That was my first team.
there you go. There you go. Jordan's
Raging
current.
Cajuns. There I'm talking about.
Yes,
I was
sir.
1-11.
I already beat that. So, oh gosh.
Yeah, I got to a bowl myself too, my first year too. So, um,
But the reason
yeah,
why,
we all kind of starting the G6. So it's always going to be some rising coaches.
yeah,
Not saying they're going to get the title. Ooh, wait till he gets a good team. No, I think everybody's kind of off that,
yeah,
but yeah, it's just some up and coming coaches. I will say that they're up and coming. Like
yeah.
it's a wait and see approach, but right now with their current team, they're surprising people and they're good.
Yeah, and then I look at like you got Ken. Like I kind of the more that I look at this stuff throughout the week, the more interested I get because there is one, two, well, Crazy Train's new to this year, so 3, 4,
Yeah.
5. Fisher 16 is new as well, correct?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the only like 3 or 4 coaches is Lexi, Phony, Chip, and football Kelly that's veteran.
Okay. And then and
The
so
rest of them are all new coaches.
and that's awesome. That's awesome for that league because I'm really curious to see how it plays out. I think it's gonna be great, personally.
Yeah, because you can have some surprises. That's
Yeah.
why I said, like, that's why I was saying, if you're Chip, you like, do you doubt your decision? Because it's just like, if I lose to another surprising coach, it's just like, I don't know, did I really just do that for nothing? When I could have just stayed and still had the same seat.
Right.
So, that's just stuff to put in the back of your mind there. But
Also, Ball State's 2-0, conference 4-1.
Yeah.
That's a new coach too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, mostly new coaches. Miami of Ohio is just mostly new coaches in there. So that the MAC is coming up. We thought that would be one of the poorest conferences when we first started this season, and now look at it. It's just it could be anybody's game
Yeah.
at this point.
Yep. That's for sure.
Well, we're going to get to the interview portion right here before we do the reviews.
All
We're
right.
going to get to the interview portion here with Jordan. Jordan is the coach of the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. The first question is obvious. What made you pick the Raging Cajuns?
Well, alumni, got my master's degree there. So spent plenty of time over there in Lafayette. In terms of picking there, I mean, Baylor was not a great season last season. I was really just a game away from not being fired. But picking teams, I'm looking for typically kind of a mobile quarterback. Uh, Lunch is not the most mobile quarterback, but he does his job. But it basically was being alma mater. So I'm looking for a potential rebound from my dismount from the Big 12, kind of make some moves, make some noise in the Sun Belt with my Raging Cajuns. And the first step was beating the Bulldogs. So.
Was that a rivalry game?
Yes, it was.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
I will say this for a fun fact. Is Lafayette is a rivalry, but we really hate Monroe. So it's just like because it's closer.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a little brother, big brother thing with Monroe. So it's more of a rivalry with Monroe than it is with the Raging Cajuns.
And I took the Cajuns not knowing they had 3 rivals. And then the first block when conference play opened up, realizing I had back-to-back games conference. Took care of both of them, luckily. But I still have my third UL Monroe, not realizing we had 3 rivals. But 2 out of 3, 1 to go.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Can't beat that.
No,
Can't
you
beat
go
that at
ahead.
all. What
Go ahead with your question. Huh?
Yeah. So when you were a Baylor last season,
Yes.
what were your struggles? Like, where did you move from? I'm sorry, like you took Baylor, but where did you come from Baylor?
South Florida.
South Florida. What were your struggles that you found coming from a G6 school to a Power 4?
Well, honestly, the Big 12 got some depth, had some great coaches last season. So obviously, week in, week out, the players were better. But honestly, I kind of was lucky because South Florida back then had Byron Brown, and he was a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then I go to Baylor, and I have these athletes, and my quarterback's throwing ducks left and right. And so like I would see it, and we were just trying to spread the ball out, do exactly what I did in South Florida, but I just didn't have the quarterback that had the same level. So I had better athletes defensively. The line was okay. The receivers are great, but the quarterback was like a downgrade because Byron Brown was a beast. and now being at Auburn. But that was huge. Is my normal gameplay from South Florida was spread the ball quick and fast and throw it everywhere. And then it was like now I'm throwing ducks, and that was a huge kind of. Now I need to start running a little bit more to open up some stuff, get some space. So that was the struggle. Outside of there was just really good coaches.
And so it's a question that I ask everybody so far is what is the one team or coach that you struggle playing against?
Against, I would say there's a handful of people. Like, I think I've kind of picked places where I've jumped around quite a bit. But I would say the one that's kind of like mirror image of kind of game planning is I've now played Steam 2 seasons back to back, and they are by far my most stressful games I've ever probably played.
Huh?
So he was SMU last year, and I was Baylor, and through a last minute 30-second left on the clock interception, he sealed the game and beat me. And so then this round, he's Navy, I'm Louisiana, and that game went down to a 14-7. And the only reason why it was really not 7-7 going overtime is he made one mistake before half in the pick six. And that's really what sealed the game because none of
Oh,
us are really moving the ball.
right.
But every single time it was like I'm playing great defensively, but it's like I cannot move the ball on this guy. And
Yeah.
it's always been like that. So it's kind of a game I'm like, I want to look forward to, but then it's also like, this is the most frustrating guy to play against. But I would say, yeah, Steam's been a great opponent, and we've saved that stuff. So hopefully, probably play some more, as aggravating as it is. But he's a great coach, and that's probably the one person I think that we've gone back and forth. So
Is there one
Since
guy?
you're,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, go ahead,
No, I was just gonna say, is
go
there
ahead.
one guy on your schedule that you enjoy playing, or you always set up a game to make sure that they're on your schedule because you enjoy playing them?
I think this year was just trying to get where I didn't want to like. I'm not the one to go and try to poach people. I want games that are going to be competitive, right? Like I
Sure.
want to test my. I don't want to just hey, I'm going to be Alabama and pick some other Sacramento State. Um, but I would say like I scheduled new people because I wanted to test the waters. I would say the game that's upcoming, which I don't know if we'll talk about later, but Nadog, me and him will actually have a big game next block. We somehow always seem to play each other, and me and him have always had really good games. Um, and that I think he was Illinois one year, so we've played back then several times. So like I haven't really kind of created a rivalry, I guess, or other than Steam, other than it's like I'm trying to play everyone. I know there's some really good vets out there that I haven't played, um, but always willing to play anybody. Last year I got pulled into the Beefy Cup, had to play Jiggy. That was fun.
Hmm.
Uh, but I haven't really, I don't target anyone. I'm open for any challenges or anything like that. But I would say that NADOG's upcoming. I'm looking forward to that because I think it's going to decide who's going to the Sun Belt from that side of the division, in my personal opinion. No bias. But yeah, I would say NADOG is probably one I'm looking forward to this year.
Oh, cool. All right.
So to add on to that question, and you kind of hinted at it, what's a coach that's not on your schedule or hasn't ever really been on your schedule that you want to play? Who's a coach that you want to play?
That I want to play.
Yes.
I would probably say, I'd say Shell. I play Shell.
And don't play them ducks at home. I tell you that.
Well, that's fine. Hey, I'll go anywhere. I'll travel anywhere. It's
And
not a
no,
big
you
deal.
don't. No, no. That's that's a take my advice. Don't do it.
Like I said,
do it.
I'm not afraid to go anywhere.
Nah, I got you. I got you. So, Shell,
And
okay.
I will say,
all right.
I'd be a little mismatched being Louisiana, but you know.
No, I was just joking with that because you are Louisiana. But yeah.
Well, I played shell when I was Oregon State, and like that's probably the best game I've ever played in my entire life because shell was only winning by like I think 3 points maybe going
Yeah.
into the fourth quarter in Oregon. Like I don't know what happened, and like I kind of think that he kind of just put his controller down and walked away for a little bit, and he was still winning. But like it was the one of the best games that I've played because I think like when you're a smaller team, and you guys were all smaller teams, so you can agree or disagree, but like when you're a smaller team and you're playing a bigger team, you're a little bit more attentive in those games,
Oh
right?
yeah, for
Because
sure, for sure.
yeah, like you're a little bit more locked in than you would be if you were just playing a regular game and it was like you're walking in and you're probably going to lose because it's probably Oregon State versus anybody. Um, and so, but when you played those bigger teams, it's kind of that test that you always want. Like, how bad am I? Right? Or, then I left that game and I think he ended up winning by 10. I think I left that game. I felt pretty good about myself. And then I
Yeah.
played the rest of the season with Oregon State.
I've
Um,
I've played shell with Oregon with the current team I have. I felt good, but it was just turnovers this past weekend that dealt me in. So it is
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, but I like when you look at those smaller teams, I think like that's a challenge. That's a challenge for you, right?
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
especially a guy like Shell who's always in the top 10, and it kind of just gives you that little bit more feed to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, this is my last question. I see a certain trajectory for you. You are currently going through a similar trajectory as Tutty. Tutty was in the G6, went to a Big 12 team and struggled, dipped back into the G6, had a great year, and then went on from there, got Georgia, and now is at Alabama. Um, do you see yourself once you fully bounce back at the end of the season and have a high draft pick? We're hoping. And do you see yourself with one of those top-notch teams in the SEC?
Mm, I don't know. The main thing with that statement is when I bounce back, not if, but when this season.
We're hoping. We're hoping. That's what
Oh
I'm saying.
no,
We're
no,
hoping.
no, it's happening. It's happening.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm putting that out there. I'm the one to put out there and be definitive.
Oh, you
Until
gonna put
proven
your
different.
gonna put your nuts on the table. All right.
Exactly.
See, we have people put their nuts on the table
I,
before.
I will say, I don't know yet. The goal is to crush my goals. Obviously, compete for a Sun Belt title, win a Sun Belt title. The playoffs, I'm not really worried about. That kind of washed away when I lost to UNT. I'm not really worried about that. One was crush my goals, win the Sun Belt, and then look forward to seeing where I fall. Now, I will give you some inside information. A good buddy of mine, NTX, actually has done a really well job of picking teams that have matched me, and I have not listened to him. So I'm actually going, and I promised him that me and him in the off season will talk, and I'm going to let him pick my team. So there's only one person that actually is going to pick Coach Jordan's team next season, and that's going to be NTX. So
You heard it here first, y'all. You heard it here first.
yeah, so I will actually not be picking my team. I will have my expert.
Cool. Cool. You go ahead, Doc.
I was sorry, I was reading something. I'm just trying. I'm trying to get caught up on. I made a mistake on the sheet, so I was just getting caught up on it. So that's all the questions I had for me.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, that does it for the interview segment. Then, if there's no further questions there, we're gonna go straight into the block two reviews of some of the games that were played. Two of the games that have not been played is FIU versus Troy and Coastal versus Georgia Southern. Hopefully they'll get those games in. But we will talk about the games that were played. We're going to start with Air Force versus Navy. That was Razorback versus Steam, the aforementioned Steam. Steam did win 31-13. Of course, the ground game, the battle of the option, and Navy pulled away with the victory on the ground. What do you guys think of this game?
I think that I thought it was going to be a lot closer. Just based upon how I feel about guys who've had a team, for a couple of seasons, and I know game differs from game to game, but I really thought that there would be more of this would be a little bit more closer than where it ended up.
Jordan?
So when I actually looked, because I wanted to go take, and I'm always curious. My parents, both in the Navy. Navy itself has a close place to my heart, so I love the option. But Razor did 2 interceptions, right? Converted those over. But the big one I think was the kind of the separating is in this one I would looked at Steam converted almost 78, almost 80% on third down,
Ooh.
and Razor was only less than 30%. So when you're talking about triple option, I mean, that's kind of hard to overcome. I mean, Navy rushed for 246 yards. I mean, when you're converting less than 30%, and on some of those triple options, tough to run with. And if you're constantly having to play defense, I've been there. It's hard to stay locked in drive after drive, especially when you're not converting and you feel like you're punting all night. I would say like that was huge. I didn't realize until you looked at the numbers. Running at 30% third down, that's rough.
Yeah, that's man. You're not
Yeah.
winning games.
Very rough. Yeah, you can't win any
You can't win
games like
games if you're
that.
not converting on third down. So
Definitely not. Definitely not. They definitely gotta work on those third down plays. They gotta go to your money plays or your go-to plays on third down.
and that's what makes Steam so good with that Navy and running that option. He uses the fullback a lot, and he gets a ton of yards out of that fullback. And he uses it at the right time when you least expect it. And that's one of the reasons why he collects a lot of third downs.
Yep.
So it looks like we're going to
Yeah.
go on to Louisiana Tech versus Louisiana. So, Jordan, you can break down the game for us and let us know your thoughts from behind the sticks.
Yeah. So going in, getting the ball, I'm kind of setting the mood. With Louisiana, I'm kind of trying to control the line of scrimmage, and it didn't settle my nerves. The first play, single back, and it ripped for a 75-yard touchdown for me. And I thought, kind of like I was up. There was a point where I was up a couple of touchdowns. It's like, okay. And then the speed of Louisiana Tech came back, whereas like I'm not. Unfortunately, with like you guys had mentioned last week, that was going to be a hard thing to contain. And so I actually went down I was up 3 scores, and the next thing you know, at halftime it was a field goal. I was up, and then actually he ended up stopping me my very first drive going up. And if it wasn't for defense turning over, we forced 4 interceptions in the second half. That really kind of changed the momentum late in that game. Because although I'm up, the final was like 58-39. It was really close. But outside of the first quarter, the rest of the game was super close. That the Louisiana Tech speed compared to Louisiana sucked to battle that. Couldn't pass for anything. Nobody was getting open because my guys are slow as molasses. But we did rack up 362 yards on the ground, which I was happy about.
You did a good
But
job of stopping him rushing. That's for sure.
yeah, it's the that booth guy in space. That is no joke. I'm glad that game is over. But yeah, he once he realized and shut down the run, once he got in space, it was hard to contain with that Louisiana team. That's gonna be my struggle with pretty much a lot of the Sun Belt teams, especially later on if Troy's got some speedy guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It really wasn't outside of the separation that without those turnovers, who knows what the rest of that game turns out to be.
Yeah.
So luckily, got some good pivotal interceptions. But I couldn't lose that game, not knowing I was going to talk to Vic this week.
But converting on 78% of your third downs really help you too. And those,
Yeah.
that's again, that's a big piece of it.
I think it was the interception. He got a turnover. He forced a punt on you. He had scored, got it down to 3 in the second half, forced you to punt or got a turnover, and then second play you got a pick six or something like that, or close to a pick six.
Yep.
And that really turned the tide.
Yeah, the pick six was huge late in the game.
Yeah. That pick six was very huge. Like I was saying, I was like, "Oh, here comes the momentum. We got it." And then 2 plays later, he threw a pick six. I was just like, "Oh shit!" Yes, it is over. That shit is over. And then he threw another pick right after that too. So it's just like, oh yeah, it's really over now. Well, good job, though, George. Good.
Thank
You know how hard that was for Vic to say.
That was extremely hard.
I know, and I waited all week. I'm just kidding.
But he been waiting on that all week. And the fact that he's my commissioner is just a little extra on top of that shit. It's just a little top. That's what made him choose. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the Big Ten commissioner. I'm gonna get to rub that shit in his face all the fucking time."
No, that's it. After today, I'm moving on. They're moving forward. They got other games to worry about.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you from here on out. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Hope you definitely do well. You have shown that you can work despite the speed deficiency that you have at the talent positions on that team. And you have schemed it up to where you can get points whenever you can. So that's definitely a good job. I like that. I like when a coach, no matter if it's Power Four or Group of Five, I love when a coach really assesses his team and see what he has, and either plays a whole bunch of scrimmages or go practice mode or however you want to go about it to see what can you do and what can't you do. And then once you get into the season, you just implement everything that you can.
Yep.
The next game we got that was played was North Texas. I guess this was foreshadowing to that Tulsa game. North Texas versus Charlotte. That was Jaguars versus Corey Flick. He's a new guy at Charlotte. And UNT came away with the 1-point victory, 25-24. That was a close game throughout. UNT hit 250-plus yard field goals to close out and get the 1-point victory. What do you guys think of this game?
Like I said before, I think this is North Texas's to lose. And I think that when all the smoke clears, I think he's going to be the guy that comes out on top in this division, and that's just you know
Yeah.
I didn't watch this game, but you know, it seemed like a super close, like obviously the
It
score
was.
says, but I'm talking about like yardage wise and like
The,
everything.
the
The
stats
stats,
definitely
yeah,
reflect the play. Yeah, it
the
definitely
score,
reflects. Yeah, it reflected the score. I'm sorry.
yeah.
The stats reflected the score. Yes.
I will say the one thing that stuck out, because I didn't watch the game, I wish I would have, knowing how kind of crazy it was realizing that Charlotte had thrown 3 interceptions. I think it was 3 interceptions, 3 turnovers total, and still was managing to stay that close with UNT. And then I
Yeah,
looked
had the
further
lead.
and
Had the lead.
well, then I looked at it and it looks and he actually was holding Jaguars only did 29% third down conversion. And I think that's a huge thing when you're trying to keep it close. When your offense is not clicking, you made some mistakes. If your defense can shut them down and they can't move the ball, and you see like a stat like that, that makes more sense. And that's a good job on the new coach of Charlotte. I mean,
And
that was impressive.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
one of the interceptions was he only really threw two because one of the interceptions was when he was behind.
yeah,
Because UNT got 50 plus yard field goal with about 30, 40 seconds left, and then he drove and threw a pick. So that was the third pick. So throwing two interceptions, they did contain White. For the most part, they contained Jaheim White, the running back out of North Texas, did contain Jackson, the quarterback in the run game. So the run game was pretty containable. He did a great job of doing that. It's just he made two field goals at the end.
yep. And that's not no easy feat either.
No,
Yeah,
especially those distances. Like I said, it was from 50 plus.
Yeah, that's impressive.
those distances and those level of teams
Yes.
makes it
Yes.
even worse.
And you're
Yes.
praying for no lag. Please don't lag when I'm trying to press
Yeah.
this.
Oh man. What? What? Oh, don't you?
I'm gonna kick this to the cheerleaders if it lags.
Hey man, don't you hate the last minute lag where you got it straight on and then the last minute lag? Oh, let me tilt you to the right a little bit. Hate that. I definitely hate that. The last game we have is Liberty versus Sam Houston. That is MJ Camp versus Luke, one of the new guys we have. And Liberty shut them out. 33-0. This is my greatest fear of all fears that I could have in this game is being shut out by somebody. I never want to be shut out ever in life. So, and I haven't been shut out ever. So, have you guys ever been shut out? And how bad does it feel if you have?
It's not as bad as you're making it out to be. I've been shut out plenty of times. It's okay. I mean,
It's okay.
there's other things I'd rather be doing than getting shut out, but you know, it's not too bad.
Jordan, have you been shut out yet?
I have avoided that so far. Doesn't sound great, but luckily I've avoided that so far. So
Well, when you've been in this
Yeah,
league for 36 seasons, it's kind of hard to avoid the shutout, right?
yeah.
Eventually, you're going to get shut out. So,
Hey, I've avoided it for 8 seasons, and I've avoided it for every dynasty I've been in. So I want to continue to avoid that. All right. Well, those were the block three games. Two of them was unplayed, but four of them did get played. Hopefully, those other two get played there. Can you update us on the standings,
yeah.
Scott?
So the standings right now, I'm at 7-3. Vic is at 7-3, and our guests are at 6-4, thanks to Mort's 4-0 last week.
Look at Mort.
Mort, So we both, Jordan, no disrespect, but we both went with Louisiana Tech. I thought that
Oh, don't
speed
worry.
was going to
I
be.
was there. I listened. I listened.
I
More
thought
got my
that
back.
speed. I thought that speed was going to be way more than your defense can handle, and you proved
And
us
you already
wrong.
know what. And you already know what I think. So yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm glad you're able to get the win there. I think that's great, and so I don't mind taking that loss. But Mort brought the guests back, Vic. So they're only one game behind us.
He did. He's the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Yeah.
Undefeated. You can only time. You can only time. Unless you go 6-0 or 5-0.
Yeah. So you got to hope more people play games, but right now that's where we stand. That's a pretty good run there.
That's a high expectation for you, Jordan. You got to
Yeah.
come with it.
Yep. Gonna try. Last thing I need is more rubbing that in my face.
So our first game we got is UTSA at Navy. So Vic, go ahead. What do you got?
I got UTSA. I think Pat is going to bounce back after that loss last week. And he's going to go a good, if he has 2 games. I'm not sure yet, but I know he's going to win this game here for me and for us. And he's going to get the job done.
All right. I got UTSA. I don't think they're going to. I don't think it's going to be a huge win. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty close. I think UTSA may have trouble stopping the option, which wouldn't, But I'm going with UTSA. I think Pat pulls this out.
Yeah. I went back and forth. I honestly could see it going both ways, just with how UTSA, dropped the game. However, I've played it, I scrimmed against that team, and that speed, that speed on UTSA, I think is going to be tough to handle, no matter kind of how you kind of chalk up your defense. So I'm with you, Doc. I think it's going to be super close. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout. I think it's going to be super close. But I think Pat pulls this one off. So I'm going to agree with and think UTSA.
I think it's going to be a blowout, Pat.
Wow.
All right, the next game that we have is Central Michigan looking to bounce back after that loss to Akron against Western Michigan. We did have this as kind of the pseudo game of the year in the MAC conference, and now it is here. Who do you fellas got?
I got Central Michigan. I think this is you got to win this game, Chip type game, and I think that he's going to come in. He's going to win this game again. I think it's going to be like UTSA and Navy. I think it's going to be really close. But I think Chip has what it takes to win this and get back on track.
I think Chip wins by at least 2 scores. Roaring vengeance. That's what I think.
Okay. I got Chip in a close one, actually. I think it's going to be a 7-point victory. Western Michigan is talented in the MAC, one of the most talented teams in the MAC conference. So it's going to be tough for Chip, but I think he's going to pull it off and get some sort of balance back to his schedule and everything like that and get back on the right track with the big win.
All right. Louisiana, Troy. We're gonna make you pick this one. It's too big of a game not to pick.
It's too big of a game not to pick.
Yeah. So we'll let you go first with this one, Jordan.
I mean, every time I've played NADOG, it's always been a good one. We haven't played, I think, in a little bit, but I'm gonna say honestly, it's gonna come down like every game with I think with any Sunbelt team is gonna be the turnovers. I think that I can scheme up some kind of put him in kind of a tizzy. I think obviously I'm going to pick myself, but I think it's going to come down to who's gonna match up defensively and force the turnovers. Um, I think I'm not going to keep my secrets, but I think I'm going to drop something for Nate Dogg. But that's my hope is have like a plus 3 differential on the turnovers.
Wow, nice. I have Louisiana. I think just coming off of that big win there last week, I think that momentum's gonna carry over.
Okay. And I got Louisiana too, fresh off the big win versus the Bulldogs, the big rivalry win. I think that you're gonna go ahead and pull it out. You gotta definitely stop the run game of Troy. Troy is definitely gonna run it on the ground, little run left, run middle, run right type of deal in the beginning. So you're definitely going to have to stop that. If you can contain the run, then it's all up from there.
Yeah, I agree. So in there. New Mexico and North Dakota State.
I got North Dakota State. It won't be close. It's going to be like a 21-point victory. Coming off the high of UNLV, the UNLV win, he won't get down and won't play down. So New Mexico, I think that run game with Mitchell and Scott for North Dakota State is going to run havoc all over New Mexico's defense.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah, as much as I would like to see the Lobos win here, I unfortunately don't think they got the firepower to contain North Dakota State as much as I would like to pick New Mexico here. I don't think it's gonna be a close one here, unfortunately. So
All
North
right.
Dakota.
I North Dakota is going to win, but I think the last time we we all did this with Outlaw, he shocked us all. Down 21, he comes back, he beats Georgia Southern. I know it's a different team. I get it, but like it's hard to count him out. So I think it's gonna be pretty close, but I'm don't think it's gonna be as big as a blowout as maybe you guys do. So I'm going with North Dakota State touchdown, maybe 10 points.
You can't count him out, but this ain't that.
Yeah, no, I get that totally. But we sat here and we said that about what do you call it too? Georgia Southern.
We did, but
He was down
again, this
21 and that game
that's
was on while we were doing this live and
that's cool, but
he
this
came
ain't
right back.
that. I'm
No,
trying to tell
I
you,
get it.
this ain't that.
I get it.
This is not that. This is not that. This is a whole nother animal right here. And like I said, I believe Scott, DJ Scott, and Mitchell, the two running backs for North Dakota State, are gonna definitely run wild all over the logo.
All right. And then we got North Dakota. We got Central Michigan here up twice this week because he got two big games. So um we got Central Michigan versus Miami of Ohio. Who wants to
I'm
take
gonna
this
go
one?
last. So I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna go last on this.
All right, Jordan, go ahead.
All right. I had Chip last time. I'm I've seen Miami, Ohio. I actually kind of tuned in because I was interested. I think Miami, Ohio wins this one. I think sends in, gives Chip his second loss in the conference. And I think Miami, Ohio kind of makes a statement for his potential MAC, but I think he beats Chip.
All right. So I know nothing of Miami, Ohio, other than he's a new guy and he's winning some games and he's doing it pretty well. But I'm rolling with Chip. I think that loss hurt him, and he's going to be looking to prove. And so, how do you do that? Is you win the big games, and I think this is going to be that game that gets him back on track to winning the conference.
Now, I did some foreshadowing earlier with one of my questions at the beginning of the pod. And why I did that, as they like to say in the wrestling business, is long form storytelling. I'm going with Miami of Ohio to beat Chip here. I think I have saw 3 games of Miami of Ohio, and they can force turnovers. He can force turnovers with that defense, and he can also give Chip problems on the ground. What happened against Akron was that running back was basically unstoppable, and so I feel like Miami of Ohio can have similar results in the run game, and he can force turnovers. Now, if Chip can get turnovers in the beginning of the game with the chip stick, then it may be a different result, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a little bit back and forth, and Miami of Ohio is going to get the turnovers needed to pull off the upset.
All right. This is going to be a good one. This one, even if I miss the game, I'll probably go back and watch it. That's for sure. Colorado State at San Diego State. Who you got?
I got San Diego State here. I think the defense is going to be too much. That defense has been very talented in every single version of the game. Like from 25, I played that team in 25, CFB 25, and 26 as well, and now in 27. That defense is very impressive for a G State defense, and I think defense will rule the day for the Aztecs.
All right. I got San Diego State. Um, man, I say this because I think this. I think Colorado State may give him some fits. I think they win. I think they win by, you know, maybe 2 scores, but I think it's going to be one of those games where they pull away late. And but San Diego State ends up getting the win.
And I'm going to deviate from both y'all, and I'm going to pick Colorado State.
Oh, here we go.
I think Coach you have that Rams team is pretty good. And I've seen Coach, and I know he's scrimming and doing some good things there. So, I mean, I've seen San Diego State play too. Great defense. Just something about it. I think Colorado State's going to make some noise, cause some chaos is like what I like to do. Always trying to cause that conference chaos. I think he does that with this win. So,
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. They are undefeated as well. So you saying Colorado State is going to take the O from San Diego State?
I mean, again, I don't know if I'd be surprised if it happens. He did beat Oklahoma, you
He
know,
did.
but I don't see it. I agree. Like San Diego State's defense is always good. I played them all through 26 whenever I was Oregon State, and they're they're tough. Any way that you shake a stick at it, they're tough, and that's
Coach UF was able to take on Oklahoma's defense, and they're a lot better than San Diego's.
oh yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
So he was able to chalk it up once. I think he can do it again.
Yeah.
But then it goes
Yeah.
back to like Vic's theory. Like you're talking about two totally different teams here. and two totally different coaches, and like,
Yep.
Yeah, because no disrespect to Chrome, but he can't play a lick of defense. That's no disrespect, buddy. But
No comment. No comment from the guest.
You know your defense is suspect. I don't know how you lost that one against Colorado State with that defense that you have. So that makes me question it automatically. But we're moving on to the bets of the week, the NDL short bets of the week. This week, last week we took a loss. You know, we can't be undefeated forever. But I think my game wasn't even played yet, I believe. If it was, I have to look back and see and tell you next week. But we took a little bit of a loss. It's okay. You still up with us. You're still gonna stay up with us. Because my pick of the week is Coastal Carolina over Appalachian State. I'm taking the money line on Coastal Carolina. Currently, it is plus 1,100.
Whoa.
Jeez.
And I don't have that much faith in his new coach versus an established coach like Gary. So I think this is too much of a spread. I think it's like 12 or 13 point. He's favored by. I think that's way too high, and that money line spread is way too high for that. So I'm hammering Coastal Carolina money line.
Yeah, I had that as well. The only thing that I see an issue with on that one is Gary's not as good at throwing in this game as he was in the last version. So he struggles a little bit more with interceptions and things like that. And I think sometimes you give, when you start throwing those interceptions in this game, that quarterback loses his appeal to want to win. And that kind of can hurt you as well. So
But I think he's gonna start off hot. Like he may throw some interceptions, but I think he's gonna come out hot and score like 21 points in a quarter or 21 or 28 points in the first half. So
yeah,
what you got, Doc?
I had Coastal as well. That was my pick. Yeah.
All right, so we
On
shared
sharp.
that.
Yeah. And
Do you have
normally I don't have like a parlay or anything. I didn't
okay?
see three games that I was overly like, man, I really need to take these three games. So I was just kind of like, I think I'm just gonna roll with Coastal on the money line on that one because I didn't do so well last week.
Oh, do you have any picks there, Jordan? Because not only does me and Jordan share a Louisiana alma mater, as we both went to Louisiana school, the great state of Louisiana, by the way. We also share the profits of the NDL short. We both had the two of the biggest wins on NDL short and two of the biggest parlay wins on NDL short.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, we are in the top. I believe we're in the top five of both of those categories. So
So he took Memphis too?
I don't know if he took Memphis. He took somebody else though.
Oh,
And
okay.
Yeah, I have to go back and look because I was over there messing with some stuff. I've been all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
I got
so,
my Big Ten commissioner picks that I do for the Big Ten teams. And then for this, I haven't looked recently outside of that. I didn't realize I'm about to go hammer that money line though, because that's a crazy amount. Because
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Vic. I'm gonna have to agree. Like, I think that spread's too much to put it on that because I think Coastal. Although I saw the only game I saw him was Michigan, and he was putting up points against Michigan. The only problem was I did see turnovers, and I've never seen Coach Tom play.
Exactly.
So
I feel like that's giving too much credit to a new coach.
yeah, so I have no clue.
But so that's you with us on that pick. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well,
So,
go ahead.
who do we got here as far as your coach shout out?
My coach shout out is Vegeta
Uh
at
huh.
Akron with a big upset win over Chip. Great win, great by a new coach. It's good to shout out new coaches. So shout out to you, Vegeta.
All right. Mine is to San Diego State, being 4-0, winning some games, and he's got some tough games coming up in this block. Well, one game, the other one he plays me, but he does have Colorado State, so good luck to him in that game. But anytime that you can walk out of anywhere 4-0, you know, and you're winning games pretty handily, so it's he's my shout out for the week.
All right.
And
Go ahead.
mine's going to be Coach Ant Rains out of Tulsa. I'm one for chaos. So anybody that comes in there and disrupts everything, I'm all for it. So coming in and beating North Texas and causing a mess in American, I'm all for it. But watching him play, it was impressive because I'd never actually seen him play live. So I think that was really impressive to contain a speedy running back as White in North Texas. I was impressed. So good job on the chaos because I like it.
Nice. That's a good coach call out there.
It is. All right.
Top five teams.
I was just about to say, who are your top 5 teams?
I got this week North Texas, Yukon, Liberty. I still have Central Michigan in there, and then Western Michigan. So one of these teams are going to bounce off for me here next week. So it'll be interesting to see which one does.
I got Yukon, Liberty Bibberty, North Dakota State, South San Diego State, and Middle Tennessee State as my top 5.
Liberty, North Dakota State, Yukon, Middle Tennessee, and then I'm gonna have to give some Sunbelt love. I think Old Dominion.
Oh,
I almost put them in there. I almost put them in. I definitely almost put them in there.
wow. Old Dominion. Yeah, they were. This one was tough because there's a lot of teams, right, that got good records, and the
Yeah.
coaches deserve it. And this one was tough to come up with a top five. So congratulations to the coaches that made the top five. That's for sure.
Well, no ball, no effect of the week. It was a busy week at work, so I had a couple of things, but I couldn't really fact check it to make sure, so I wouldn't be spewing bullshit.
Is it an old time one? Because I'll probably get that one.
No. There's no ball, no effect. It's none. No ball, no effect
What?
of the week. Yeah. The one thing I do want to discuss, though, I do have a question about the ruling that came down. What do you feel about the whole some of these undrafted free agents that are in training camps, like NFL teams going back to college?
It just shows you how messed up NCAA is. Like that just like uh, I college football went from being literally the best sport on the planet to being no better than the NBA. Garbage.
Wow.
Like there there's no there's no loyalty anymore. There's everybody's out for themselves. And granted, I mean, like, I don't blame them, right? Because they're providing the rule that you can do this. So, you know, if I can make $3 million at one school this year and then go to the next school and make $4 million, why wouldn't I? Like, I don't blame the kids. I blame the NCAA for allowing this to happen. And they have to fix it. They have to fix it.
Before I share my thoughts, what are your thoughts, Joy?
And this was saying that these are college students that went and declared for the draft unsigned, so they're going back to college, right? Just making
No,
sure.
Well,
no.
they were seniors. They were seniors, and their eligibility was up. But remember, the fifth year thing happened,
Gotcha.
where they got
Gotcha.
the fifth year automatically, and the court injunction had about 30 players that went undrafted.
Yeah.
That if they are cut, can go back to college.
I mean, I'm right there with you, Doc. That's the problem with it. I think there's a lot more other variables that the NCAA has to fix. And this just is another highlighting area. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Um, but on the flip side, just from like the player's perspective, because little do you guys know, before my time at Louisiana, I was lucky enough to play in college. I played Division III up in Chicago, and I would have killed to have another year. Granted, I didn't go to the NFL, but a lot of those guys maybe, hey, it didn't work out for me this year. Let me go back and then hopefully make it, because the percentages only get smaller
Right.
the
But
higher
what
you
if?
go. So
But that adds another question. What the fuck are you really doing when it's September the 1st and you going back to college? Like you've had training camp, yeah, with an NFL team, yes. You've done camp with professionals, yes. But what if you go back to your school and it's a whole new scheme, or you get picked up by another school and you gotta learn a new scheme on the fly, and you won't get any PT till game 6 or game 7 or something like that, maybe.
some guys are just looking for that extra time. That's all I
Because
got to say
fall
as a player.
because fall camp is already wrapped up, and
Yeah.
colleges by that time it'd be already week 0 then passed by that time. So it's like if you are going back to a team that had a week 0 game, you only got 11 games left now, or potentially 11, at minimum 11 games left, maximum 12 or 13 or whatever. But I don't see it really being worth it though. Like, cause I
I think
can't see them getting getting that much of a bag, because all their money is really tied up.
a lot of it, I mean, you kind of, I don't know any of these particular people's individual stories. So like everyone could be much different. But some of these players, probably are really smart when it comes to football, or just natural athletes. So the coaches are smart. They can turn it around and make it really quick for them. Like very simple to understand until they get up to speed. I've been there. I've seen people come in and just pick it up because they're just natural at it. So like that piece, that's fine. I think of it as like they're gonna cash in terms of the playing time to stay up to speed at that level in hopes that they can get drafted. Because a lot of them don't want their dream to die. Now, does it happen and work out for them? Slim chances.
But see, I feel like you killing the dream, because you're already on a team. It's up to you to make the motherfucking roster.
Yeah, but like I can't remember what team it was. I don't know if it was the kid played for the Bengals or the Seahawks or whatever, but he was leaving. He left camp to go back to college, right? So now you spend all of training camp with this team, undrafted free agent. They
Oh,
got the
you talking
look
about
at you.
the first round pick? But they ended up signing him, and he came back to Cincinnati.
Oh, did he?
And he ended up playing his rookie year last year. That was last year. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He was a DN out of Texas A&M.
No, this guy was a defensive back. It happened this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
This year. Okay.
I
Okay.
can't remember what team he was on. I read the article because then I was just like, because then it went into the article about the Missouri quarterback who who was at Penn State, then he went to Missouri, and then he left Missouri and got in the transfer portal. And then he was on a visit to what do you call it? Virginia Tech. And then while he was in Virginia Tech, he got a text message that said that Virginia Tech just signed Brunkenmeyer and kind of left him with nowhere to go. So, like, he's scrambling through all this. And if I was this kid, like, at that point, I'm going to tell these guys to go pound sand, right? Because,
Yes.
like, how can you do that? But I don't know where he ended up. Like, I was at work reading the article, and then I ended up having to do something. I stopped reading the article, but it was Missouri's quarterback, who was there last year, started 10 games or whatever.
I think it was a Bo
Yeah,
Perbula, whatever
yeah,
his name. Yeah.
yeah,
But my thoughts on it is like y'all mentioned it. I really thought that NIL was going to create loyalty and not do the opposite. Because if you a kid, like these kids ain't smart, and there's so many kids that just stuck in the void in the portal and don't have nowhere to get out because as every year passes, there's no tape on you. So it's just like you're just there. And there's some kids that's been stuck in the portal for 2 or 3 years and can't get out. Or they have to go to Division 2 or Division 3 or NAIA or, FCS to get a look at or anything like that, or JUCO to get a look at. And I thought because, hey, we're paying you, you should stay. You a college kid. What's 2 or 3 million, you know, to a college kid? Like that's some real deal money.
right.
And I'm like, hey, if this school is entrusting me with $3 million for a year, not like 3 million for 4 years. No, this is 3 million for the semester. That's basically. And we can re-up and do 3 million again and 3 million again. I can make damn near 10 million off 3 years of college and then go to the league. Because if the dream is the league, no matter if you go on 3 or 4 years, if the dream is the league, shit, you might as well stay at the same school. Now, sometimes they do push people out, which I understand. That shit does happen. But if you're not forced to leave, like, I don't see why these people be leaving because it's not like it just works out for everybody. The only time it really worked out for 1 year was really Cam Ward, and that was it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it takes you 2 years, and Caleb Downs, obviously, but other than those two, it takes 2 years for you to blossom at that new school.
Yeah, look at Beck, right? Like, everybody thought him going to Miami, he was going to be a super high pick and ended up in the third round. But,
Exactly.
Jordan played Division 3, right? Like, why doesn't Division 3 get the same options? Like, that's what I hate about. Like,
Well, Division 3 is no scholarship.
well, it doesn't
Yeah, just
matter,
academic.
right?
Yeah,
But,
it's just straight. Yeah, ain't no money in that though. You
right.
ain't
But
really getting too much of in there.
why can't I get 5 years? What if I got hurt? Why can't I get 5 years? Or why
It just
can't I
comes down
play?
to the money. That's what it is.
But
Yeah, it
Once you
comes
so
open
down
up
to
an
yeah, it
NIL,
comes
that's
down
what
to
ended up
that.
happening.
Yeah, because like you can't get 5 years in B3 because, like we said, it's no scholarship, so they can't renew you can't renew anything. Like with that, with the whole 5th year, they're renewing scholarships.
no, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, if I have 5th year eligibility, why can't I go to Division 3 and pay my own way? I just made $5 million.
I,
You know what I mean? Like, why can't I
yeah,
go
I'm
play one
pretty
more
sure
year?
you probably
You
could. I'm
can't.
pretty sure.
You can't.
Oh, you can.
No.
Oh.
Nope. Eligibility ends after 4 years.
Oh, wow. So you just have to stay in the FBS to get the 5th year.
Yep. Which I think is unfair. But I think, like that kid that went to Iowa, he got a $100,000 contract, guaranteed, to come to Iowa. This was maybe 2 years ago. And he
Yeah.
went to Iowa, did his first practice. Alabama came and said they would give him like 750,000. He left Iowa with $100K.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
because those contracts are guaranteed. Yeah, because those contracts are guaranteed. Yeah.
But where is
Welcome to the NIL.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, where is
Exactly.
Yep.
you're allowing kids to do that? What are we teaching kids in?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's why Nico took what he took at UCLA. Nico barely getting $1 million at UCLA because he still got that score from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a whole structure that needs to be addressed with that. And like you said, it's kind of like they walked in to the bank, grabbed a couple mil, and walked away to the next bank.
Or
Yeah.
like I said, in the future, it's gonna be like these Power Four schools are gonna have like 40 to like 60 million in money that they can just dish out.
These kids are never going to want to leave college.
So all of the sporting programs, by the way, but they're gonna have 50 to 60 mil to spend. Of course, 30 of it's going to football.
Right.
So that's gonna create a more disadvantage.
Yeah, it's just. And the sad part about it is the power, like, you're going to see teams like in the Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to have like 28 teams. And you're going to be down to 4 conferences. And it's just going to be, it's going to be horrible.
And it just isn't what it used to be.
Nope. But nothing is, right?
No, it's always change. Always change. Well, that
NBA is
is
full of a
it
bunch of
for.
crybabies.
True.
You
Oh,
know,
softies.
yeah,
Oh,
like all
softies.
softies. And
Yeah.
that game has changed. Baseball has changed. Like, it's all changed.
Well, for college baseball, it has changed for the better with NIL though, because they get more scholarships now. They can
Well,
offer more
yeah, and then
scholarships.
kids realize it ain't worth leaving college for to go play in the minors. So
Hell no, because you're gonna be down there for 2 or 3 years anyway.
right, and you're making more money in college, you might as well stay, get your education, and come out a better baseball player. And I think you're going to see baseball down the line be a better product because you're going to see the guys like Paul Skeens and those guys that left college.
Wyatt Langford down here in Texas.
Yep. And they might have a year in the minors just to get their feet wet about what it's about, but they move through quicker. Like, I see baseball as being the sport that kind of gets better through NIL more than any other sport that hands out money.
Yeah, true. True.
Because you got that. And then the one example I always like to bring up that always makes you laugh is you got players foregoing starting spots to go somewhere else that they're going to be backups. And I always laugh at the Dylan Raiola. He's going to be the backup to Dante Moore, but left his starting spot in Nebraska so he can just be a backup. And that's the level that you're at, is he's willing to leave a starting role to be a backup.
You get a couple
But I mean, he got promised he got promised the next year he gonna be the starter. So, I mean,
That's still, I'm just saying, still out of all the other ones, that just shows you kind of where players are like willing to forgo a starting role.
I think that's more so about less about loyalty, but more about you wanting to win so bad. Like instead of sticking it out in Nebraska and be like, yeah, I'm a legend at Nebraska for trying to bring that program back. You look at Oregon and it's like, oh, this a well-oiled machine. I can get to the Rose Bowl with Oregon. I can get some shine. All I'm gonna get in Nebraska is 7-8 wins. I'm gonna get a chance at a natty with Oregon, and Lord forgive if Dante Moore goes down. That's on me.
Yeah.
God forbid, next season he thinks he's a starting role in Nebraska, throws a bag at some other quarterback that comes in.
Yep.
Just saying, devil's advocate.
I mean, they made Bo Nix. They made Bo Nix look good. I think they can make him look good. I think they can make Rayola look good if they made Bo Nix look good.
Yeah, unless someone else comes with a bigger bag, then he's just going to walk away with some money.
Yeah.
All right, I digress.
No, true. No, you're right. True. True that. Well, that is it for the episode here of the Outliers. This is Coach Vic. That is Coach Doc, and we'd like to thank our special guest, Coach Jordan, here today. We appreciate you. We appreciate the insight and the breakdown of your game, and we hope nothing but the best in the future of your seasons here in the NDL.
Yep. Good luck.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
You as well.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.